Should the New York Knicks trade Julius Randle for Kevin Durant? I'm going to try to figure out if they should, because Bleacher Report just dropped an article where they gave us a trade idea that would send Randle out west and make Kevin Durant a New York Knick. Before I give you my thoughts, show you the trade idea, and I try to make the case for if they should or should not, I want all the real ones to weigh in the comments section. Pick a player. KD, Randle, let me know. I want to set this up by going through the rationale of Bleacher Report as to why they crafted this trade idea. They said, quote, the Suns would still have a star at the forward spot with Randle, would gain an above-the-rim interior presence with Robinson, and would fill the functional floor general void with McBride. They'd also add 3 first-round picks to their depleted draft stash, giving them enough flexibility to go looking for even more on the trade market. The Knicks would finally have Durant and immediately count on him to provide the offensive support Jalen Brunson often went without during their playoff run. And I think that whether you believe the Knicks should trade Randle for KD or whether you think they should not, I think we can all agree that Jalen Brunson and Kevin Durant as a 1-2 punch will be one of the best duos in the NBA, and they would be able to propel the Knicks into NBA Finals contenders. There's really not many scorers that are more skilled than Kevin Durant. I think when we look back 20 years from now, we're going to talk about KD being one of the best scorers of all time. And really, Jalen Brunson is on a path and a trajectory of his own to be one of the best scorers at the point guard position. You're getting almost 55 points per game with these two fellas. They're both extremely efficient. That's what's crazy. KD, he could score 35 if he wanted to, and he would sacrifice his field goal percentage to get down to 45. But the dude is so efficient with it. And having another player on this team alongside Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo, that could give you 27, 7, and 5 on 52+% from the deck and 41.3% from three. I think the Knicks would have the best 1-2 punch in the league. And I actually think Jalen Brunson and Kevin Durant complement each other perfectly. And KD actually might be the perfect piece for the Knicks. The only unfortunate part is he's a little bit of an older prospect. This was that full trade idea that Bleacher Report proposed, and it looks awfully familiar to a trade idea that I might have proposed about 3 weeks ago. Not saying they saw it here first, but I'm also not saying it. This is the trade idea, though. Randle, Robinson, and McBride out west to the desert. The Knicks also give up their number 24 pick this year, a 2025 first-round pick from Washington, the worst pick the Knicks have, and a 2028 first. So you give up 2 first-round picks of your own and a protected pick for Kevin Durant, but you also give up 3 really good players. Randle, 3-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA player. Robinson, the best offensive rebounder in the NBA. Induce a young, cheap asset the Knicks don't just want to give away. But they wouldn't be. They'd be adding Kevin Durant and maybe building a duo that could maybe add 1 or 2 banners to the rafters of Madison Square Garden. Listen to this. Think about that reward, though, says Bleacher Report. Brunson and Durant wreaking havoc on their own or in 2-man actions with the other, while what's arguably the association's deepest roster routinely finds ways to enhance anything and everything the Stars do. When you talk about what this team would look like if you are the New York Knicks, and you have a top end of the roster that features Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, OG Anunoby, Kevin Durant, Isaiah Hartenstein, and you still got Josh Hart coming off the bench with Bojan Bogdanovic. That's 7 players right there that can help you win basketball games. This is maybe the best top 7 in the NBA. And you could still go out and re-sign Precious Achiuwa. There's still other moves to be made. You still own the 25th pick in the NBA draft. Brunson, Chenzo, OG, Durant, Hartenstein. Maybe the best starting 5 in the league. You got Josh Hart and Bogey coming off the bench. You had a rookie with the number 25 overall pick. You still have other ways to improve this roster. I think that's a team that could win a championship. I really, really do. Would you make this trade? I want to hear from you in the comments section. All the real ones, please weigh in for me, because I like to go down in the comments, see what you got to say, and I learn a lot from all of y'all, even my guy Carl. Type A for accept, D for decline. I know there's going to be a lot of people that say, Marshall, you don't know ball. Marshall, what are you doing? I think you have to make this trade. I do. Because at the end of the day, my goal, if I don't build the Knicks, but my goal is for the New York Knicks to be teams that can win championships. And if you add Kevin Durant to Jalen Brunson and the other 5 players we talked about, you are legit finals contenders. You can go toe-to-toe with the Boston Celtics. And I think we're entering an era where that is the team you're going to have to overcome and beat in the playoffs to be able to get to where you want to go. And you add KD, Kevin Durant, or you have Kevin Durant, Jalen Brunson, yeah, that team's going to be able to compete against anybody in this league. And the Knicks would still have the taxpayer mid-level exception. They could offer a player $5.2 million. So you can go get somebody that's still pretty solid out there. Maybe it's Kevon Looney to replace Mitchell Robinson. Maybe you're looking at someone a little bit cheaper. Could you add a guy like Najee Marshall? You need a point guard off the bench. Do you go look at a guy like Kyle Lowry? But you would also have ring-chasing vets that would want to join this team. Because NBA players are smart. They would look at it and say, holy shit, you got Kevin Durant, OG Anunoby, and Jalen Brunson, maybe the best big 3 in the NBA. I know there's a lot of reasons to not be the biggest fan of Kevin Durant being traded to the Knicks. He's a little bit older. He is on the back 9 of his career. He's had some injuries stack up, played over 72 games this past year, though, and he was great in the playoffs for the Phoenix Suns. If the Knicks could add a player to this roster that's 6'10", and gives you 27 points in the playoffs with 6.5 boards, 3.3 assists, knocks down his overall field goal percentage of 55.2 and a three-point percentage almost to 42%. Yeah, the New York Knicks, they would have beat the Indiana Pacers in 4 games, and they would have had a great shot to beat the Boston Celtics. At the end of the day, it just comes down to this for me. When I try to figure out if the New York Knicks should trade Julius Randle for a guy like Kevin Durant, I come back to one thing. Who can I trust more in the playoffs? When it's a tie game with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter of a Game 6 or a Game 7, who would I rather have on the floor? Is it Kevin Durant or is it Julius Randle? There's a lot of reasons Randle is struggling in the playoffs. Didn't have a lot of help against the Hawks. He was hurt against the Cavs. He was hurt against the Heat. But you know what? I don't got to touch the stove to know it's hot. We know Randle is a player that has come up a little bit short in the playoffs. KD is a multi-time champion, multi-time Finals MVP, and a duo of Brunson and KD will be the best duo in the NBA. And right now, the New York Knicks window to win is now. In sports, we love to think that this window of your team being able to compete at the highest level is so dang wide. You know, the Golden State Warriors probably thought the same thing when they won the NBA title most recently. I don't think they've really been all that good of a team after that. Your window to win is never as wide as you think. And I think that the NBA is open right now. I know the Boston Celtics are there. The only team I'm worried about. If you have KD, you got Jalen Brunson, at least for the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to be able to compete with the top dogs in this league. Make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_ and Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. Hit me up over there, and let's go Knicks.